Hello everyone, welcome back to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy. Today we have a Pauper match of Boros Tokens versus Turbo Initiative. Boros Tokens, this is an old list I have not updated in a while, but it has been updated recently enough that I included the Inspiring Overseer. This is a list that is all about pumping out a bunch of white weenies and tokens with Squadron Hawk and Thraben Inspector and Battle Screech, getting a bunch of birds on the field, and then being able to turn them all sideways and play Rally the Peasants twice, giving everything on the board +4/+0, and hopefully your opponent does not see it coming, and you just blow them out in one turn. This has a little bit of staying power with using things like Faithless Looting to be able to draw through the deck, Palace Sentinels to be able to get that Monarch, and Seeker of the Way to keep some lifelink and keep you in the game. On the other side of the board is a newer deck that was recently hit by the ban, the Initiative deck. So this deck, you may well know if you are a Pauper player that most of the Initiative cards, all of the cards that give you the Initiative, were banned. But it was actually only the blue one, the black one, and the red one. The green one and the white one are still legal in the format because they're not exactly the best bang for your buck. Both costing 5, it's hard to get into play. But Jameson has built a deck around ramping with either Dark Ritual or Simian Spirit Guide and Lotus Petal to be able to power out one of these Initiative guys, or either getting an early Monarch down with the Crimson Fleet Commodore or the Thorn of the Black Rose. Oh, he also runs 4 Rite of Flame, so you're really looking to either get a turn 1 or turn 2 Monarch/Initiative. And we will see in the coming games how strong the Initiative actually is. And right before we jump in, I just want to mention this is at our new store. The location that we have chosen to start filming has quite a bit of glare. I haven't been able to fix it yet, but hopefully in future videos we will figure out a way around it. So sit back and relax. Let's go. All right, we have Jameson on the play here with Basic Forest, playing a Windscarred Crag to gain a life on my side. Just another basic land, and we see, there we go, the Thraben Inspector coming down with that Clue token. Using 4 mana here on turn 3 with a Simian Spirit Guide. That's going to get the Thorn of the Black Rose into play, getting a very, very early Monarch. Before passing turn, a Lightning Bolt is going to take that off the board. Jameson is going to get to draw. He is still the Monarch for now. Monarch changing control whenever combat damage is dealt. We're seeing a Snuff Out for the Thraben Inspector to be able to hold on to the Monarch for 1 more turn. That blank card over there is, in fact, a Seeker of the Way. Snuff Out, a very good removal spell, especially in a deck like this. You have to pay 4 life, but you get to kill any non-black creature. Non-black, non-artifact? Just non-black. As long as you control a swamp. So we're seeing the damage come through. Jameson didn't have an answer for the Seeker of the Way, getting to become the Monarch, and then playing a Squadron Hawk. Squadron Hawk, of course, once you play that Squadron Hawk, you can go get all the rest of the Squadron Hawks in your deck. Now these are just 1/1s with flying, but they pair very well with Faithless Looting, being able to draw better cards if you think that it's not quite good enough. Better than a 1/1 flyer. Now, we do see the Goliath Paladin coming down here. Now, when the Initiative is taken, you venture into this dungeon, and the dungeon has all sorts of different effects on it that range between like finding a land, drawing extra cards, scrying, making your opponent lose life, and then, of course, it's ultimate, if you will, if you get all the way through, is you get to reveal the top 10 cards of your library and put a creature into play, and it gains hexproof until next turn. So it's incredibly effective, and it is better than Monarch because every time that something takes the initiative, if it enters the battlefield or it's your upkeep, it constantly takes the initiative. So another card that I didn't highlight is Ephemerate. So if you ephemerate an initiative creature, then you get to take the initiative again. We do see that Squadron Hawk coming across here. So I do get to take the initiative by getting a land, a basic land to hand. 4 mana is going to get a Battle Screech. Battle Screech putting 2 birds into play. You can flash it back if you can tap 3 untapped creatures. So as long as you have 1 more white creature, you can just use the Battle Screech again. But that is not what I'm trying to do here. We see the green boy coming down, Avenging Hunter, also taking the initiative. This guy's a 5/4 trample, whereas the Paladin is a 3/6 vigilance. When the initiative is taken, Jameson decides to give 2 +1/+1 counters to his Goliath, making it a 5/8. Fairly difficult to deal with the direct damage deck. But there is a Journey to Nowhere on the table, trying to target this Paladin. Ephemerate is going to flicker the Goliath Paladin, doing exactly what I was just describing. You can see me never seeing this interaction before, understanding on the table. The initiative is taken once again. You get to lose 5 life as we venture further into the dungeon. Good thing had a backup removal spell. O-Ring coming down, the 1 of Oblivion Ring, exiling target permanent, non-land permanent. Just trying to get this guy off the field to be able to get through, deal some damage. So with that attack and the lightning bolt, that was more than 10 life. And Jameson conceded there after seeing lethal was on the board, and we are on to game 2. Another Windscarred Crag to start the game. Jameson starting with a Swamp into Mountain, Dark Ritual, 3 black mana. And we have that Thorn down on turn 2 once again. 4 mana. Getting to draw an extra card each turn. Having a 1/3 Death Touch. It's quite good. 1 mana is going to get a Faithful Suiting on Boros' side. Discarding, looks like, looking at a Squadron Hawk there. And then 2 cards go to the grave. Think I'm looking for a land that comes into play untapped, as the Boros Garrison is now down. This is the land that taps for 2, but comes into play tapped, and you have to return a land. So it's not great to bounce a Windscarred Crag, since it constantly comes into play tapped as well. You do get to gain the life, but just is keeping you so far behind. And instead of using 2 mana effectively, just use the 1 white to put the Thraben Inspector into play. So we're seeing Jameson use that Ash Barrens, finding the color that he wants. We see a Rite of Flame, another Rite of Flame, 1 white, and that is going to get the Goliath Paladin, as the Rite of Flame makes 2 mana and then makes an additional mana if there's another Rite of Flame in the grave, making 4 mana, and the Goliath Paladin for 1 white. So the initiative is taken. Looking pretty good for Jameson at this point. Just at the top of the dungeon. 3 mana is going to get an Oblivion Ring. Going to take care of that Goliath Paladin. A Boros Garrison is going to bounce that Windscarred Crag. Trying to stay in the game, but when every land enters the battlefield tapped, kind of hard. Jameson at 5 mana here. Slaps down the Avenging Hunter, taking the initiative once again. Drawing all of these cards, and getting all of this advantage. I believe that is the Seeker of the Way. Passing the turn. Upkeep, initiative is taken. Checking out, okay, well, how bad is this going to be? Can't really stop it. We're seeing 3 mana for 5. It's probably another Avenging Hunter. So here is the ultimate. Going to slap down the top 10 cards. And as long as there's a creature there, get to put it into play for free. The rest of them gain hexproof. He accidentally mixed up his mana. There we go. And so he's actually taking the initiative again because he had an initiative creature come into play. So we are back to the top of the initiative board. Getting that basic into play. So Jameson kind of holding on to a commanding board presence here. Tokens in a lot of trouble. Oh, I also forgot that you get to put 3 +1/+1 counters on that creature that comes into play and gains hexproof until your next turn. So, yeah. Looking at a 6/9 now. Nice. I believe that was a Squadron Hawk. 1, 2, 3 Hawks into field. Or not into field. That would be amazing. Into the hand. Trying to decide if I can navigate this still. 3 mana available. Staring down at least 10 damage trample. Plus the 6 damage from the Goliath. And then another 2 or another 3 from the Thorn. Kind of in big trouble. Really have to think it through. The problem with the Boros Tokens deck is if it gets behind these giant creatures, there's just not really a way to get around it. I mean, like, maybe some combat tricks with the Seeker of the Way and gaining lifelink. We see a Lightning Bolt. Dealing that damage. Was that a double Lightning Bolt? Getting the Thorn off the field, gaining some life with the Seeker of the Way before blocks, I guess. Oh no, it was the Prismatic Strands. So Prismatic Strands gain protection from a black creature, and then Lightning Bolt, so you do gain the life. Passing the turn, playing yet another Boros Garrison. And we see the Bombshell being dropped here. Got to pull this card up. Arms of Hadar. Creatures target player control gains -2/-2 until end of turn. So this completely wiped the board, and that was enough to concede, as there was way more than 12 damage on the other side of the board at that time. We're seeing an Avenging Hunter come down with a double Rite of Flame Simian Spirit Guide start. The initiative taken on turn 1. Seeker of the Way coming down on the other side of the board. Jameson getting that basic land to hand. But he's kind of riding this Avenging Boy, what's his name? Avenging Hunter, to victory, hoping that, you know, a 7-5 or a 7-6 to start the game is not bad with trample. We see the Inspiring Overseer come down on the other side of the board. This is basically what the Phyrexian Rager, but the other way. It's a 2/1 that gains a life and draws a card when it enters the battlefield. And the Arms of Hadar says, I don't like either of those creatures. Let's get them out of there. Not as backbreaking since it's not as late in the game. Still really good. See another Seeker of the Way coming down. Tapping the mana to keep 2 red up. Looks like I have a Forgotten Cave in hand. Probably want to cycle that. Drawing some cards off of the initiative. And Ash Barrens. It's going to get white mana. Probably going to go for the Goliath. But maybe not quite there yet. Would have needed a Dark Ritual. There's a Lightning Bolt. We see the Ephemerate. Taking the initiative once again. Getting a creature from the top 10. I think I did see an Avenging Hunter in there. Getting to take the initiative once again. Get a land from the deck. Just very, very, very good value. Cracking a Clue? Or no, that was a Faithless Looting, putting some stuff into the grave. Bouncing Boros Garrison for the turn. Getting the one of the Avenging Hunters out of there. Finally getting to deal some damage. And gain the initiative myself. We see an Ephemerate taking the initiative again. Going on the other side of the dungeon. I can't remember exactly what that one does. We see a Tormod's Crypt, going to get rid of any advantage that the deck had in the graveyard there. Decides to attack, take some damage. And now there's a little bit of forgetting here. The initiative should have passed. Monarch is in play. We're going to remember it here in just a second. We're seeing 3 mana, trying to decide what we're going to do here. 3 mana is going to get, or 4 mana with the Boros Garrison's Battle Screech. 2 creatures into play. 2 birds specifically, 1/1 birds. Trying to decide, and I think it's right about here. Oh, why is this initiative still on my side of the board? Should I get 2 counters? And then we go, maybe not. Didn't we take the initiative last turn? That's why I didn't attack. Still thinking about it, because, oh, okay, wait a minute. No, that's not right. Points to it, says, yeah, no, this thing ephemerated. Now we have to think about it. And we're going to work through it. Yeah, you ephemerated. Okay, that makes sense. This didn't happen. I have the initiative. Here we go. Okay. Initiative happening. Still passing the turn. Don't want to attack into the creature. Doesn't look like Jameson had a lot of like gas in his hand, a lot of basic lands. So draws for the Monarch and just passes turn. So these 2 birds are going to be a great advantage attacking here. Seeker of the Way blocked by the Thorn of the Black Rose. I think we're about to see a Rally the Peasants here. 6 mana is going to get Rally. So creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, flash it back. So each of those birds is a 5/5. We're seeing the Snuff Out take care of the massive Seeker of the Way, because that was also going to get +2/+2 in lifelink. So it would have gotten +6/+6, becoming an 8/6, 8/4. Snuff Out, losing, or no, just using the mana for it, but gaining the initiative and the Monarch trigger. Getting 2 counters on one of my birds. Passes the turn. Jameson doesn't seem to have anything, so he just tacks in for 6 damage. He gets the initiative and Monarch back. At a different point, he gets to draw an extra card. And pass his turn. Very excitedly attack in for 3. Get the initiative back, and it's 3 life lost, and that is going to be game. So very interesting back and forth with that game. The initiative being a huge swing in both players' favor. That is kind of the risk you take when you try to go for a big reward by trying to hold on to something that can be exchanged between players. But I think it was a real good showcase of what both decks can do. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this content in the future. We have a bunch more of these on the channel, so go check out our backlog to see some other premium content. If you're curious about a deck you saw played here, the deck lists are always in the description of the video below. Thanks as always to Spellhold Games for letting us play at their store, and we'll see you next time for some more Magic content on Tuesday Night Legacy. Bye!